What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Infusion Breakdown Show. It's your boy Joshua Freeman. To my left, I got Mr. Bryan Carey. To my right, I got Mr. Desmond Tillmon. How you guys doing?
Marvelous, bro.
Marvelous. DC.
Exquisite.
All right.
What is DC?
He said marvelous.
Marvel.
Interesting.
This is how we started off today.
Yeah, I guess this is. But welcome back. Welcome back, guys. How you guys, 2019, doing so far?
Been on a hiatus, bro.
You been on the hiatus? From what?
Life. Hiatus. Nah, I'm playing. This has been, I guess you could say, get your shit together month.
Okay.
Started end of December, everything's falling into place, so that's kind of why we've been been focusing more on trying to get my career started, and then, you know, not trying to sacrifice time as a dad, so taking everything in stride. We ain't forget about you guys though.
How you doing? You good?
Yeah.
You chilling?
Just had my first year anniversary with my job, my current company that I'm with.
Oh, I think you about to say your girl.
So nah.
I was about to say, oh shit.
Just been hiding somebody. And Frank. But no. So my first year with the company just passed January 8th. So now I'm starting to look for other opportunities. So I'm looking forward to growing in that aspect. But then also I've been doing a lot of things, and as far as new life experiences. This past weekend, one snowboarding trip up in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Great time with my family, friends, all that. So I'm just looking forward to doing more of that. Taking something off my bucket list.
All right, so we have 3 questions for today. The first question is going to be, are acts of kindness lessen or decrease if the person giving it has ulterior motive? So, what do you guys think? Remember, comment below. Remember, like, subscribe, all that. So, any of you guys want to tackle it first?
I'll go with you.
Oh, okay. Well,
Let's start off
so I do believe that the act of kindness is lessened given the person has an ulterior motive. So if you do something with intent of malice and it ends up having a good result, unfavorable result in your opinion, but it helps the other person, or me in the example, I wouldn't be gratuitous to that person. Like, maybe it was fortunate that it worked out that way. They try to sabotage you. I'm trying to think of like a really specific example of how that applies in daily life. But let's say by your homeboy cotton blocking you, you meet a girl that you actually are more compatible with. So yeah, that did work out, but still, you know, I can't respect you for what you did. You know, that was like a really sneaky move. So I do think the intent is really important when it comes to things like that. The intent provides context.
Okay. If you guys want to know what he's eating, it's called, what is it called?
It's a star fruit.
Star fruit.
Get you some.
It's good. Tastes just like apple. So, but what do you think, Dad?
Are acts of kindness lessened, decreased if the person giving it has an ulterior motive?
Wood grain.
I'm gonna say no, because that person doesn't know you have ulterior motive, and people get used every day.
So you're saying just because you don't know?
Yeah, I was about to say just because you don't know.
We're ignorant to a lot of stuff, and I think you'd be ignorant in yourself to ignore that fact. Like, nobody ever does anything. Okay, I'll take that back. No, I'll keep it that way. Nobody ever does anything without expecting some personal gain. Like, if you do something, you're doing it because of the satisfaction they give you. That's selfish in itself. And whether you look at it from the brightest point of view or the most negative point of view, you can imagine you're doing something good because you thoroughly enjoy the joy that it gives you.
Mm-hmm.
That's selfish in itself. I'm not saying selfish in a negative connotation, but it's still selfish. You're doing it maybe not because that person needs help, but because of the satisfaction you get from helping someone. Like, there's a starting point with that, and it starts with you. That person is just the beneficiary.
Mm-hmm. So,
just to play devil's advocate.
Sure. So, given that path of thinking, you don't believe in altruism. Not saying, so people, when they think of altruism, it's automatically everything that the person does is for the greater good. They're doing it. That's their maximum. Do the best. Do the most. The maximum amount of good. Right.
Yeah.
But what if it's on a micro scale? So let's just say within this one action, you just chose to do it because it was good. Are you saying that doesn't exist?
No, it does.
Okay.
But I still think you're doing it because of the joy it gives you. Like, I've never seen somebody that's like having the worst day imaginable just do something good out of the kindness out of their heart.
You've never seen that?
I've never seen it. I think like when a lot of people are in that negative space, they're just tunnel vision, doing what they need to do to get from point A to point B. So if you're having a bad day, you're just going about things the way you would typically go about them just to get through the day. You're not thinking about, oh, who needs help, who needs X, who needs this or who needs that. So you're just thinking about for yourself. But if you're in an overall better mood, you're more aware of the possibilities or opening availabilities for you to help out with other people. Like, I'm not gonna lie, if I was having a terrible day and I seen this grandma putting groceries into her car, I would just keep going. It's none of my business. But if I'm having the best day ever and I see her, I'm like, okay, you know what? I am having a good day. Let me spread my joy to her. Right. I'm doing that because it's in return, I'm going to get more joy. Like, I can go say, hey, I helped this lady put her groceries in the car. Mm-hmm. I've never done that, but you know, if you can imagine where I'm trying to go with it,
you're doing it for satisfaction.
Yeah.
So I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum. I could be having like a really bad day, for example. I feel like just because I'm having a bad day doesn't mean that everyone has to. So like life is hard enough for everyone. So what can I do to make someone else's life easier?
Ain't nothing wrong.
That's not saying I always.
There's a starting point. Yeah. By you doing that act of goodness, it jumpstarts your. It gives you something to be proud about.
I don't do it with return. Like
it's not an intentional return though. It just happens.
That's not my motivation behind it.
True. But I'm just saying it still happens.
Right. And I'm not saying I always abide by that either. Like some days I could be like you. Like, you know, grandma needs help putting the stuff in. You know, I'm having a bad day, so I'm just I could ignore it. Yeah. It's very well possible. But I would say, generally speaking, I tend to be on the opposite side.
I can understand.
Why does the person have to be having a bad day? Why can't they have a really good day and just want to, like, you know, I'm going to help somebody because I want them to feel as good as me?
If people could do that continuously, we'd have no conflict.
No conflict?
No conflict.
We would find something.
We would find something, but it wouldn't be worth it. You could say, well, I could do this, but if I do that, then everybody's happy. If everybody was acting not out of the good for themselves, but the good for other people, there would be no conflict.
If everyone was altruistic, there would be no conflict.
But everything I'm not going to say everything, but a majority of the stuff that people do is for their own benefit. I'm arguing that people are really selfish. So even if they are doing a good act, it's for the return. You could be unconsciously, not even, you could subconsciously be doing something, not realizing that you're doing it because you've done it before and you realized how great of a satisfaction you had or great feeling of joy you had from doing it, and you just go do it. So it could be like, you know, you subconsciously doing something. You just see somebody needs help and you go do it, and you're not even realizing that, you know, at some point you were walking past that old lady not helping her, and then the one time you did help her, you realize how much joy you gave it. So then you just go do it next time, not even thinking. It just becomes almost like training. Like it just becomes natural.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
The reward circuit.
So that's the point I'm arguing. I do actually agree. Like my train of thought is exactly what yours, but you know we can't be buddy.
No, this is war.
Wait, so you do agree?
I agree with him, but I had the perfect counter for it, so I just gave that instead of. I figured I'd just argue that everybody's.
I think.
So it is decrease. So acts of kindness is decrease.
I said no.
No. Oh, so it's not decrease. No. Oh, okay, make sure. But you said what?
I think that it threw me off.
Oh.
It really did.
No, you're good. You got 1 minute?
Yeah.
Okay. But I actually agree with Bryan. So say for instance, like I do believe like acts of kindness are decreased based on the ulterior motive. But say for instance, what if Donald Trump makes a plan to legalize marijuana, and over 10 years that those taxes will be used to build his wall? You know, a lot of people Now, of course, it might not benefit you because you guys don't smoke or whatever. But a lot of people who smoke and everything like that, they love marijuana and everything like that. What if that happens? He's benefiting people, but he's also benefiting himself. Does his actions matter more than his intentions? Do you feel that?
Just to nip it in the bud, it would be impossible because he wouldn't be in office in 10 years. President can only serve 8. So that's why I'm going to say, but it's interesting that you even bring that up because Kamala Harris, she just announced her bid for president, or her bid to run for president. And California prosecutor, notoriously, not going to say notoriously, but she at one point was one of the people who were against the legalization of marijuana. And then over time, as it's gained traction... Is
she a Democrat or a Republican?
Democrat. She was originally against it. And now that she has placed her bid, obviously New York Times, all these publications are going to go and unsurface like what she once voted for and what she votes for now. Mm-hmm. And marijuana is one of those things that she supports legalization for now. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, are you pandering to youth because marijuana is what the youth care about? Is that your way of like digging in to not only to the black vote but to the vote of like millennials and whole, because
right,
marijuana is something millennials are passionate about. Even if you don't smoke, you're like, what? Is it a drug? That's debatable.
It's not. But we don't feel it's problematic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But she was a prosecutor, law and order prosecutor type thing. And, law and order comes from the Nixon era, where it was like 3 strikes you're out, California law type thing. Like very, very, very. I'm not gonna say supportive, but she implemented policies that I'm not gonna say implemented, but she saw through with policies that are responsible for like the disfranchising of black communities. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm saying that his intentions aren't there because he's doing something knowing that it's going to benefit him. So that ideally it would lesser the good of it because he's doing it for his own satisfaction. He doesn't care if marijuana becomes like this ultra addictive thing that causes society to deteriorate, or if it really is just the magical drug that cures all the cancers and gives everybody the happy high they want. He's doing it because he knows that marijuana's what sells, and he needs his funds for his border wall.
But if a majority of the people, I guess, I want to say a majority of people supports it, does his actions count as a good thing, as a kindness though? No? Mm-hmm. Why you say that? Because of democracy.
Because the majority of the people do support it, and it's still not legal in every state.
Democracy rules though. I mean, isn't that supposed to be...
Does Trump function as somebody who thoroughly believes in democratic values? A lot of what Trump does is what you would see in an authoritarian type, where it's like silence in the press type stuff, to where he literally rules like a dictator, but you have like the fundamental values and rules of democracy that keeps everything together, like how he silences certain people at press conferences, or kicks the opposers out of his rallies and things like that. He functions he moves as a dictator. But because we have so much, I guess you could say checks and balances or preventative measures in place, you don't see people, getting dragged out on the streets and getting shot. You just see them getting thrown out of, these events.
It's as civil as it can get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe it's possible to measure intentions through communication now. So I feel, how do you know if your boss is planning to promote you or not, or intends to promote you or not? You communicate with them in action, right? Mm-hmm. So you can find out, right? How do you know if the person you're dealing with, whether you're talking to them or not, is actually there for the long run? You communicate with them, you talk to them, right? So I feel communication will help with intentions. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Do you agree? Do you agree?
Yeah. But you have to honestly communicate, because you can be fictitious in what you say.
What you said, Tom?
I said you can be fictitious in what you say. So that's why the honesty and the communication is a major part.
Yeah, it's definitely a major part. But I was kind of like him. I wouldn't say when I'm having a bad day, I don't think of course, when I'm having a bad day, I'm thinking about cooling myself off. I'm not thinking about doing something else. But like, I remember I used to ask like, why why people ask me why when I would do something nice for somebody, or I would ask to do something nice for somebody. Like, as an example, like one of the girls I used to mess with, I took her on a shopping spree, and her friend, her friend, like her friend. This is what it said. And her friend was like, before I did it, he was like, well, why are you taking her on a shopping spree? Like, why are you doing that? I was like, and I used to get like, what do you mean? I mean, she like clothes, right? I mean, she makes her happy, so.
You just wanted to do it.
Yeah, just wanted to do it.
It was just one of the spur of the moment type things.
No, I mean, I guess I think I planned for it like but I mean,
but it wasn't a reward for anything. It was just
it wasn't.
It was just something you felt and you wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I always used to get, but it's because they want to know your intentions. They want to know like why are you doing that? Especially if it's something as nice as that. I didn't even. The other thing too, I don't really count things like that as crazy nice. I'm just like, doesn't everybody do that? Like, I don't know.
But we aren't. So people who aren't of that same school of mindset, they see things. They approach situations.
You still shocked about this, my man?
I could have sworn he got struck by lightning, or the iPhone shorted out or something like that. But they look at acts of kindness with extreme, like they're really skeptical about it, because most people don't go above and beyond for others. You know, but we are selfish by nature. I will give you that.
This is when I have money. This is when I was balling by this.
Yeah, we are selfish by nature, but we do have the capacity for it. But it's so much in the minority that when you do things like that, it does shock people, as we just saw. Yeah, especially you.
True. Yeah.
It's kind of like the scene at the end of the Grinch Stole Christmas, where the Grinch's heart.
You're talking about this?
Yeah, where the heart grew 3 times.
You good? My man's over here wild. But I just feel like when it comes to communicating for things that really matter, people are just too afraid to actually do that. But they'll communicate with some simple shit. But when it communicates things that really matter, especially when it comes to relationships, they really don't know how to do that. But just communicate. But that will help with intentions. Like, if you don't know what that guy is doing, communicate. I mean, like, what are you doing something? Like, are you here for the long run? Are you just trying to fuck? Like, what's going on? Like, what's going on? So, I just feel communication. What do you think, Des? Good.
Some good star fruit, ain't it?
You're wily. But is there anything else you guys wanna?
Not on this one. I think we need to get away from this topic.
Get away from the topic.
Before we collapse.
We don't ever need to come back.
But what do you guys think, though? Our acts of kindness lessen and decrease if a person has giving it has an ulterior motive. Comment below, okay? Has it happened to you guys? Let us know. But the second question today is going to be: is it possible for two people to love each other equally in a relationship? So, you bringing it over to this question too?
Yeah, I would like for you to take this one first.
I am baffled. I am clueless. You taking women out here on shopping sprees, bro?
Yeah, if they accurate, I was. Yeah, I was.
Oh, so you wouldn't do it again?
Nah, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I would say if they accurate. I mean, what does that mean? If they accurate?
I am appalled.
You're appalled? That someone is actually
that you took somebody, not at the act itself, but you took somebody out on the shopping.
I don't look like the type.
I don't know, bro.
You don't come across.
You just look like you have a hard time trusting everybody. You look like you question everybody's intentions.
Nah,
you can like.
I had successful.
I'm not saying you never had a successful relationship, but I feel like even in a successful relationship, you'd be the one to question somebody's ulterior motives.
Nah. I don't look into the ulterior motives. Like, what you really up to? What you
like? If I buy her all this Victoria's Secret, she gonna take it back the next day and pocket the cash.
I usually understand the motive or the intention before in the talking stage.
You buy all that Victoria's Secret and then she has somebody else take it off.
Nah, that's not an option. No.
Sad thing is, with women, you ain't really got no say.
No, we ain't buying Victoria's.
All right, well, listen. I'm good now. Is it possible for two people to love each other equally in a relationship? I'd say yes, it is. But it's always going to fluctuate. It's never going to be 50-50 the entire time. Short and sweet. There's going to be days where it's going to be 80-20. There's going to be days where it's 70-30. There's gonna be days where it's 50-50 and you can feel like this is the greatest thing in the world.
You feel that love can on a certain day can
the love
down?
Isn't gonna fluctuate. The love is always gonna be there, I feel like, but
then what do you mean as far as
the effort is going to fluctuate. Like,
I feel it's different than just saying, do they love each other equally though?
Well, what is equality in a relationship?
Well, as far as loving each other?
No, I'm actually I'm gonna go back into okay.
You want to define it first?
Yeah, I think we should define it because I think you're going in a different direction than what I'm going in. Because what I'm saying is it possible to love each other equally? Absolutely, but I feel like there's gonna be days where you're sick and tired of somebody, and it's gonna be those 80-20 days where person who is sick and tired of you is at 30, and the person at 70 got to be that person to bring everything back to 50 to remind you why you're here in the first place. Because I think there are a lot of days where you I'm not gonna say you necessarily question why you love somebody or why you're with somebody, but there are days to where like they're not bad habits, but the things that annoy you more today than what they did yesterday, or they annoy you more this year than what they did 5 years ago when you guys first met. So do I feel like that affects the love? Not necessarily, but I definitely think that it affects the effort put into the relationship, because you begin to question why, just in itself. Like, why are you here? Why do I love you the way I do? Why this, that, and the third? And then it's like one of those things to where if you're constantly doing the things that won the person over to begin with, you don't ever have to worry about the, love fluctuating. But if it's one of those things to where, like, y'all are young, so-and-so is going to chase their career, you're going to chase your career, or so-and-so is going to chase their career and you're stagnant, then it's kind of like the person who's chasing it, like, well, damn, do I really love you that much? Because you're not holding me back, but you're not benefiting me either, per se. And that person might be benefiting. There's some people that are stagnant, there's somebody who's supporting, and the stagnant person supports that person 100%. But it's always going to get to that point where the person that is stagnant or not moving forward is going to fall out of favor with the person who is moving forward, because the person who's moving forward is always going to wonder what it's like to be with somebody who's equal or level with you, per se. I think everybody goes through that. But then, like I said, it's always, keep reassuring and reminding yourself why you're here to begin with. But now we can dive into what you're saying, because we went off on a little tangent of how I was dissecting it.
No, I just felt that you was talking about, I felt you was kind of answering the question if it was, is it possible for people to display the same effort with each other in a relationship?
So the idea behind it, when I came up with the question, was, do both people feel like their effort is being matched?
Oh, so we were here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were
so,
here.
Okay, so you are referring to effort, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was looking at it different then.
Like, because you can't quantify love. Like, I don't know, like, we have watts, we have, pounds and stuff. There's no metric for love.
That's what we were here.
Yeah, I was thinking, okay. But so what do you say?
Oh, what's my take on it?
Yeah.
I agree. I say yes.
But
so,
there's a contingency.
I do agree. I'm not going to go along the, because obviously you said there's a scale. Like, sometimes you get your 20, sometimes it's not always, 50-50 equal. But, so the fact that you love someone enough to commit to them, because that's one of the most vital parts. Because if you feel like that they contribute that much to your life, that you're better off with them than without them, despite what you're going through personally, then you're going to stick with them. And so, yeah, there might be those days that are 20 and 80, and it might fluctuate, but the fact that you are in there with that person is going to keep you to it.
Not always, but in
theory. In theory. It doesn't always work out.
And it depends a lot on the maturity of both people involved and what they have forgiven themselves for and what you have forgiven them for. Because there are a lot of times where, like, you hold on to petty stuff and you agree to work things out, but you never really forgive that person for it. So if you never forgive, it's never going to get back to 50-50. You're going to think it's 50-50, but subconsciously you're always, not even subconsciously, you're always thinking about, what if? And I think, like, until you forgive completely, no matter how long, no matter the tenure of the relationship, if you don't forgive, the relationship's never going to get back to 50-50.
No.
It's always going to be like you're going through good times you feel like shit is 50-50, but deep down that person has something. Their mind is somewhere else.
Like it's good now,
Yeah.
but as soon as it goes bad, then like the feelings that you felt like when you were cheated on, those feelings are gonna resurface.
Yeah.
Because you didn't really forgive that person.
That or the person didn't do enough to reassure you, to
Right.
regain the trust and all that stuff.
Because there's 3 parts to an apology.
Yeah.
It's the acknowledgement, the actual what can I do to fix it, and the actual following through with it. And most people just stop with I'm sorry.
Yeah. A lot of people, and I think part of it has a lot to do with pride and not wanting to be vulnerable per se.
Okay.
On whose part? The person who's
apologized.
doing the forgiveness,
Yeah.
or the person being forgiven, or doing the forgiveness.
The person, I'm not going to answer that one because that threw me off. But I'm gonna say the person who has done wrong, who has asked for forgiveness, typically won't complete all 3 stages because of pride. They'll apologize because it's easy to do, but actually 2 and 3 are.
So they're not actually sorry for what they did because they felt it's more like, yeah, it sucks that you got hurt by it.
Yeah,
but
a lot of people think like that though. Like it's not uncommon. A lot of people are more sorry for getting caught than they are actually doing the act.
Okay.
And a lot of people will say sorry, and they'll say sorry because they actually see the amount of hurt it has caused you. They won't apologize because they want to help you get better. They apologize because they see how much their careless actions, really, really damage you emotionally. But they won't go the extra mile or to carry out stages 2 and 3 if you're basing it off of your 3 stages of apologizing. Anybody can say sorry. It's easy. It's just wording.
You don't have to mean it.
You don't.
That's a sociopath kid. That's a sociopath kid way.
So that's how you get away.
That's a sociopath. That's what you did. But maybe I am. But actually, I'm gonna say yes too. But I guess the way I look at it, maybe it comes. I went for it like a different way than you guys, because you guys were talking about effort when I
We
was
took a detour.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess I took a detour. I always.
You're gonna find yourself back where we're thinking, but you.
Yeah, I believe so. But I was saying, yes, but basically they have to be equally happy as well. That's what I'm saying, basically. Does that make sense?
Can you measure happiness?
What do you mean happy? Like satisfied with themselves or the state of the relationship?
Satisfied with their state of relationship.
Okay.
As far as state of relationship, and I feel a person can love you and you can love that person, but that doesn't mean they'll cheat. They have to be happy. They have to be happy too, and that goes back to communication and communicating. As far as that relationship, what makes them happy? Does you agree?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll make sure. but yeah. Just think what I feel. Men cheat for 1 or 2 reasons, because they're still a boy or they're unhappy, right? Do you agree?
Those are 2 possibilities.
I think it's also.
Do you think it's more
emotional impulsiveness.
Yeah. I think there could be more.
As far as like the need for.
They're undeveloped emotionally, so I think that would be traditionally what you would call it, like still being a boy.
I feel that's counts as a boy.
He just articulated it a little differently.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So boy, and then because
being unsatisfied.
Yeah, unsatisfied basically. So, and I feel that, and I feel women. It's not because basically they're a girl. Basically, because it's mostly because they're unhappy. Why women cheat? Do you guys agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because they've already moved on.
Didn't we touch on this before? Kinda.
Why
women cheat? Like, if women cheat, it's more so like they're on the way out of the relationship versus when a guy he'll stay in it.
I think we talked about this the first episode, and it was one of those things where it went off like on a tangent. It wasn't a scheduled topic.
No.
It was something we just talked
about.
Like
the first
like an offshoot.
Yeah.
But yeah, just basically they're not as happy as far as in a relationship, but if they're equally happy, then I believe it's possible. But
I don't think you can measure happiness though.
You don't think you can measure happiness as far as another, even if I state it as just the satisfaction of the relationship?
I don't think you can measure it.
You can't get it down to specifics, but you can definitely determine whether you're happy or not. So it's more like it's not so much important the actual reading. So let's say you're looking at like a ruler, the actual notches on it. But if you're more so far in one direction than the other, you can definitely tell that.
Can we say it one more time?
So it's hard to quantify, but it's very easy to tell. Like there's a scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so much about the numbers, but the position. So if you're too far to the left where you're unsatisfied, that's very clear. Too far to the right where you are really satisfied, then that should be clear too. Like you can tell whether you're satisfied or not, but how much is the part that's hard to quantify.
Yeah. I can agree with that. And then a lot of people, not even a lot of people, I know it myself, sometimes I'll feel happy, but it's temporary happiness. It's like a contingency-based happiness, where if this is being done, then I'm happy, but if it's not being done, then I'm like, well, what the fuck am I doing here? Type thing. And that's not, I feel like that even in itself is not happiness, but it is the overwhelming joy that comes at that specific time because it is being done. But it's almost like one of those things that has to constantly reoccur for that joy to come. It's like, I guess, wanting everything consistently. I think I feel like happiness is based off of consistency.
So if that's the case, then your happiness should be solely contingent on your self-satisfaction. Yeah. You need to have your own ecosystem.
Happiness in the relationship, not happiness like as in your personal happiness.
I know. So you say happiness in a relationship is what?
Is dependent on consistency.
What's going on? So like if your significant other, your girl start treating you different, you probably wouldn't be as satisfied in a relationship, which is perfectly.
But I feel it has to get to that point of not just consistency, but satisfaction too, as far as being satisfied with the relationship and everything.
Or being satisfied with the person.
Yeah, being happy with yourself is more primary. Because you can have, actually.
I'm stating this if you're already happy with yourself, like you just okay. Person. That's how I'm looking at it. Of course, if you shouldn't even be in a fucking relationship anyway.
Exactly. You're not happy with yourself. If you're not able to appreciate that person in return,
but at the same time, a lot of people do develop personally because of the relationship.
Yeah, that too.
I feel like the other half goes through a whole bunch of shit developing that person.
They don't have to.
They don't have to. I'm saying it's what happens when somebody sticks around trying to help somebody develop. And that's part of like the whole.
I feel part of that is the person doesn't want them there too, and the person just doesn't want them there too. Though, what if the person wanted them there too? Would it still be?
You're saying the person doesn't want them to stick around and help?
Yeah. Because usually, do you feel?
I don't think I follow with the question.
As far as
how you're wording, if the other person wants to, like I'm not understanding.
As far as the stick around for help.
Nobody just sticks around. It's like you don't know that you're sticking around for help. You're sticking around for something because it's what you're comfortable with. You don't realize that you're sticking around because for certain reasons until like you actually remove yourself from the situation theoretically and realize like, holy shit, I'm not doing X, Y, and Z. Why is this person still with me? And then it's like, oh shit, she's like actually helping me. Like there are a lot of people that don't realize that they are projecting their demons onto somebody else, per se. If you kind of follow, there are a lot of people that do like a lot of shit. I don't want to say subconsciously because it sounds like you're making an excuse for yourself, but there are a lot of people who do a lot of stuff and don't actually realize what they're doing until it's too late. And it's like, damn, had this really have been brought to my attention, like by me, then I could have addressed it. But the fact that it's being brought to your attention by somebody else, it's like, fuck it, I got a whole bunch of other shit going on. I'm not trying to hear what you got to say, per se. That's kind of where I'm like, that's how I'm dissecting it.
No. Okay. Do you feel, as far as in today's society, people love each other equally more in a relationship, or do you feel?
No. I don't know. But I'm going to just say I don't know.
Why do you feel that way?
Why do I feel that people don't?
Yeah, why do you feel people don't?
Because people aren't truly honest, like you said, with their intentions.
But that's just not a problem with our generation. That's been a generational thing. Like everybody deals with that.
Yeah, we're not necessarily saying generational thing. Yeah, it's not necessarily generational thing.
I feel like same way we're going through the issues we're going through it, parents went through with it. Same way we're going through with it, our siblings are going to go through, our younger siblings, if you have younger siblings, or nieces and nephews, they're going to go through the same stuff.
To flip what you said about how you realize how the person's really down for you, like when you're not giving them the best and they're still there. So I thought about how could I provide that in context of myself. So on the other side of that, the issue where I loved this girl before, and she wasn't ready for a relationship at the time because there was still something she was dealing with emotionally from a previous relationship. She was still working on healing herself, right? But in spite of that, even though some people would say that I shouldn't have been talking to her after that, like I should have just cut the contact off. But I still stayed in touch with her because I really cared about her. I wanted to help her. So that's the opposite side of versus seeing somebody being there for you and being like, wow, this is they're really down for me. but it's more so making my actions match how I really felt, and I felt that was the best way to do it.
I feel like helping people who don't necessarily know they need to be helped does a lot more damage to the person helping than if they were to just steer clear. Like if you kind of follow?
Mm-hmm.
Where
I know
like
what you mean.
the emotional turmoil you're going to go through trying to help somebody is far worse than the emotional turmoil you're going to go through with like just a breakup and not talking to that person anymore.
Because they heal on their schedule, and you're going to get frustrated because it's not going to court. Like, you know, you should be over them right now. You know, I feel you.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, when it comes to people not loving each other equally in today's society, I feel I agree that it is part of communication and everything, but I feel it's because people are with the wrong person mostly. Do you feel that way?
So you're saying no because the wrong person.
Wasting them time?
You're saying no because they're with the wrong person.
To no to what exactly?
To your question.
No. I'm saying I feel what you were saying as far as them. Well,
I don't know. You've been confused with both.
No. You said I forgot what you said, but I was definitely replying to that.
Yeah.
But I feel since love is more of a choice than fate, people choose to be with like the wrong person. Because I was asking, do you feel people love each other more equally in today's society? Than, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I was saying. You said no.
Oh yeah. I'm saying no.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I'm saying
We
no.
did do that podcast. Oh my bad.
What podcast?
Is love more of a choice?
Choice or fate.
Yeah.
What was the last one that we did? Or the one before
we
episode
did that
5,
a while
perhaps?
ago.
Right.
Yeah, episode 5.
Okay.
But yeah, I just feel like since love is more of a choice than fate, people choose the wrong person basically, and that could be out of settling or just knowing that the person that they really wanted to be with or was actually a fit for them got away.
Or
in some
perspective.
aspect. Or you said
Because
what?
I think it's
Perspective, because you feel like you should be with this person when, later on, let's say like next month or a year from now, you feel like, yo, I should have never been with that person.
My dissecting of it is either right person, wrong time, or wrong person, right time. That's how I've always just broke it down.
Well, how do you identify right person, wrong time?
Right person, wrong time is based off of everything click,
Right.
but maturity isn't there. You're able to admit a lot, whereas that person is able to admit some, but they're still in the phase where they are trying to get the maximum amount of joy out of life. And that getting that maximum amount of joy out of life doesn't necessarily mesh with you getting the maximum amount of joy out of life.
Oh.
Yeah, you meet
so
someone,
you do believe that is a thing?
Yeah.
Right, Jamal?
You meet someone who is willing to do the things to keep you satisfied and that you will want in a relationship, but it's just not the opportunity at that moment.
Yeah.
But say like you're not healed or you're just not in that stage where you're ready. You don't want to be tied down.
Yeah.
And then the wrong person, right time is like the kind of the toxic relationship.
But it's at the right time.
You just happen to be weak. Let's say like a jump.
No.
A rebound.
Wrong
like,
person in the
what?
right time is the toxic relationship to where you are ready for the relationship and you are willing to go the extra mile emotionally, mentally. But that person is that was the example I gave. The person sticking around.
How do you separate that from the wrong person from the right person though? Because I feel they're kind of it's a thin line between that. Because you said the wrong person. I mean, the right person is there, but it's the wrong time. He's not that mature. While the wrong person.
No. That's not what he's saying. He's
saying
saying because the right person at the wrong time, you aren't the one that's more mature. Like you
aren't
ready for that. Yeah.
Oh, I think you're talking about. Oh, okay.
No, that's not what he's saying.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But were you just gonna say something?
No, I was just correcting you.
Oh, okay. No, I think he's gonna say something else before that. But yeah, do you guys? Yeah, I just feel it's. But what do you guys think will fix that? Something I've been saying for the past 2 episodes. I feel communication. Like, whether you communicate with that person, that's how you find out their intentions. Whether it's the right person, wrong time.
Women lie, men lie. Communication isn't always the best factor. Actions will always be the. Because a lot of people will say like.
Isn't always the best factor.
Because a lot of people will say, feed you lip service. A lot of people will like tell you what they want.
I guess
but the actions will never align.
I guess I'm just looking at it as a bigger standard where I can understand like.
Oh, you talking about with us?
Yeah, I guess
My
I
bad.
understand. I am. I guess
My bad.
in a standard where I understand where you're just feeding me bullshit. So I'm just like.
Oh, you talking about me?
No, sorry. In general, so I will because you say feeding you lip service. So I just like I'm not gonna listen to that. Like I'm just so. But yeah, I got what you mean. But yeah.
You saying what makes somebody?
Oh, you're
inclined
talking
to be
about
honest, right?
Okay. understanding communication is also being able to weave out the bullshit in communication.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean...
Are you asking what are the conditions that are required to make somebody feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable with somebody and be honest and, you know, forthcoming with their intentions?
Wait, say that one time?
You're asking what are the conditions that need to be met in order for someone to feel comfortable being vulnerable with someone and making their true intentions known, their true feelings? Mm-hmm. Okay. That's a question we can go over.
I just want to let you know my waves are more icy than yours, bro.
You know what's funny? I woke up, it was weird. I think I did like this in my head, and I felt waves, and I don't even mess with waves, which is weird. And I was like, and I took a picture of my head. I was like, why do I have waves? That's weird.
Did you put a do-rag on?
No, I don't care about waves. Like waves was I was messing with waves in early high school. I don't care about waves. It's so funny because everybody was talking about waves. Like I got the spinning wave. Like I don't care anymore. But my hair is like kind of curly anyway, so it.
And you brush it?
I've always had natural waves. Yeah, I don't brush it that often though, honestly. Only when I'm like about to take a picture.
I don't believe this. You do something.
No, I really don't. I don't put a do-rag on or nothing like that. I've never put stuff in my hair or nothing to get waves. Like I've always had good waves.
You know, you don't need to put just anything in hair. Like you just put in oils or anything. Because I don't put pomade in my hair. I put like this tea tree and jojoba oil for like my scalp, and then every morning I will put Jamaican castor oil, and I'll mix a little bit of lavender in it because Jamaican castor oil stinks, and that's what adds the gloss. But the tea tree and jojoba oil is like really good for like severe dry skin.
But yeah, I don't use any. I just shampoo my hair and that's it. Like I don't.
You shampoo your hair? How often do you shampoo your hair?
Every day, time I get into the shower.
You shampoo?
Yeah. Not well. Well, I have psoriasis, so I kind of.
You shouldn't do it. I have like seborrhea as well, and you are stripping like the natural oils by shampooing it.
I feel there's always no.
I feel like if you moisturize, like you have waves, but they will look more defined. Like you see the difference.
He said, "Fuck that psoriasis." What are you talking about?
Psoriasis, I understand.
Nah. So the tea tree and jojoba oil really help with like seborrhea, like the dermatitis stuff. The castor oil is specifically for the shine of the hair. So I wash my hair like once every 2 weeks, but I will condition it 4 or 5 times throughout that 2 week time period, because the conditioning is what locks in that moisture. And then pretty much the jojoba oil with like even the wave cap
how dry does your hair get?
Like I can peel scalp myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It sucks. It's a genetic thing.
Yeah.
When I was doing the wave thing, I would wash my hair like every other day and reapply my products and stuff like that. Because otherwise, like if I didn't, my hair would just be dry, and it just didn't look as nice. It didn't retain moisture.
But yeah, what do you guys think though? Is it possible for two people to love each other equally in a relationship? What do you guys think? Comment below. Let us know. All right. So the third question for today is going to be: can men and women be friends without feelings developing? So, what do you guys think? Do you have a friend of the opposite sex? Are you guys fuck friends? Are you just actually friends? Like, what's going on?
You trying to get people caught up.
But I mean, people define friends. I don't know. People think of talking as something different. People can define friends as something different. So I don't know these days. You know, I have to ask. I ask about everything. So, but what do you guys think though? Who wants to go first? Anybody in particular?
You can take this one.
Yeah,
each of us, kick it off. Let's go.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
Whatever. Yeah, I say yes. They can definitely be friends. Like I have a. I wouldn't really call her a best friend, but I have a friend who's
you're really close with her.
Yeah, it's really close. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. I think one of the main issues with men and women being friends of the opposite sex, and then of course one of those people having like a significant other, is like the lack of boundaries between those people, between those friends, basically. I think that's really the main issue, and it's just that if clear boundaries are set, which goes back to communication, if clear boundaries are set between not only that friend but the actual couple, then things will be okay. But clear boundaries have to be set, like, hey, you talk more to you on FaceTime and you talk more to him than me, like, or you out in public, or you on the phone with and you talk more to him, or you communicate more with him than me, like, so what am I here for, basically? So I just feel it goes back to communication, and it goes back to basically just communication, as far as and those boundaries that has to be set between the friend and the actual couple. So But I feel like if you're gonna treat me as second to that friend, then it's no. What am I here for? Basically, that's how I feel. But do I make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, just make sure.
There's also a very prominent, other side to it too, where the friends are neglected. So just because someone's in a relationship.
Yeah, but I'm not telling you like to ignore your friend. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, yeah, but come on, you should be. I think that goes back to maturity too. You should know how to handle. True. Like, you should know how to handle having a friend of the opposite sex and then the person that you're going out with or something like that.
I swear. But even with people of the same sex, it's like the people, like a lot of my friends, I see they have the inability to support a relationship that's healthy, and then also have friends, like a social life outside of that. Like, they either commit completely to one or the other. Say, if I'm in a relationship, that's the only person I'm hanging with. Or to go be with friends.
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying ignore him. Like, you should definitely know, like, come on now. Like, but I'm not saying ignore him. But right. I see I'm going on stories. I see you hug up on him more than you hug up on me. Yeah. I see you on FaceTime. You talking to him more than you talk to me. Yeah. Every time we on FaceTime, we silent. Why is that? When I try to text you about your day. So I mean, it goes back to those clear boundaries, and people have to understand, like, I can't put this friend over this person that's going to be my potential boyfriend or girlfriend or something like that. You understand? Yeah. Does that make sense? But yeah. But that's just how I feel about it. What do you guys think?
I would agree. I would say yes, that they can, but that's if there isn't any attraction, like it's strictly platonic. Like, no one, like, you don't feel physically attracted to the other person, or if there is an understanding to where you just know that you guys aren't compatible. I do feel
so you can't be physically attracted to the other person. Like, you can't, when you say physically attracted, as in you can't think they look good. You gotta think they look ugly.
You can acknowledge someone as attractive without being attracted to them.
Okay. Desmond had a man. Like,
he had a what?
He was like, no, I can't.
No, I mean, my take of it is, it just depends on you.
Just depends on you.
Yeah, it's a case by case scenario or a situation. It is absolutely possible, but I think if it's a friendship that can survive longevity, which means that y'all talk about anything and everything, y'all have been at each other's necks, and y'all still come back to like a consensus that y'all are, able to forgive and forget, or forgive and understand, not forgive and forget, but there's going to be some time during that relationship that feelings surface, whether you pursue those feelings or not. I don't think the feelings are ever going to align at the same time if it's just a friendship, but there's always going to be a time during that friendship, I feel like, that feelings would have surfaced. It's just that they're never going to align. Because I've had multiple female friends that I've had feelings for to start off, and they didn't have feelings for me, but as the friendship went on, it switched. It was one of those things where, like, I appreciated you as a friend. Now we're not going to fuck that up.
Right.
Because once sex comes into a friendship, then that's when the emotions come. Because you having emotions as a friend, and then you have emotions as, like, a partner.
Always emotions come.
If it's, like I said to start off, if it survives longevity to where y'all can go through thick and thin with each other, then this stuff is going to happen. Because the person who catches feelings second is going to be the person who potentially sees that person as a partner. And by that time, the person number one has already moved on from that. They've already identified that it's not going to work. Being friends is better. And that you're somebody I can come to, when I'm talking about my female issues. Mm-hmm. Now, there's nothing to say that it doesn't happen. Like, two people that have had feelings for each other at different times can't come together and say, like, this is what's, like, we can make a relationship work out of this. But from just my experience, it's always been, a situation now where the roles have been reversed.
I had the same experience.
Like, there have been plenty of female friends that I have remained friends with, but, like, the second I moved or the second that, like, graduated, we ain't talking more.
Mm-hmm.
So when you said, okay, go back to the question. Not
That's something I agree with him.
No. But yeah, yeah. Do you agree with him?
What are you asking me?
I was gonna say go back to the question that you said. I forget the question that you said. Forget it. I totally forgot about the question you said. But were you gonna say something?
No, I was saying I agree with the how your feelings change. So there was an initial attraction in this one instance, but then as time went on, I realized maybe this isn't the best. I don't think this would be the best idea to do work that compatible. So I just decided that we're better off as friends. So I just kept it like that. Like that's fairly common. I think that's the point that you're trying to illustrate, right?
That it is possible to just be friends, but it's always gonna I think every like male female friendship will go through that.
It's always that dynamic, especially if there's some element of attraction.
Humans are always comparing. I feel like until you get to the point where you're like 100% comfortable with you leave that train of thought behind. But like when you're like just experiencing life and trying new experiences, you're always comparing like. Mm-hmm. What do I see in this person that's different from another person? And sometimes you subconsciously do it. Like you are subconsciously attracted to something that the person you actually are in a relationship with doesn't have at all, per se. So like I feel like until you like know yourself as a person, you're always going to go through life comparing like what like you're going to realize that there's new shit you enjoy that you never would have thought you enjoyed at some point in your younger periods. So I feel like that's why a lot of people go through life and they do like the most reckless shit at an early age and then like have the most success later on because they realize, all that shit was dumb. I've done everything there is to do. I really wasted my time. Whereas a person who is very, very like humble and conscious of their decisions, it's like always like, damn, what if?
Fear of missing out?
Yep. Because I go through it. Like, I am aware that at 24 years old, I should be aware of my future, mm-hmm. But I also shouldn't go out and party. But I'm more fearful of not amounting to what I think I should amount to, that I completely, like, avoid the whole going out, every weekend, because I used to go out every weekend, and then I got my charge. So my fear of, like, messing up my future and like my future period is what prevents me from doing like certain things. Like I go out and I drink and then I choose to drive. Mm-hmm. Well, damn, that's another misdemeanor or a felony on my record. I'm not a felon, but I do. It was dismissed, but like the fear of fucking up is what causes a lot of like people to just not try anything.
Is it worth losing it?
Exactly.
And as long as you can answer yes, then it's not going to work.
Yeah, makes sense. I got you, but yeah, I was saying when you said, I forgot what you said when you said it attracted. You keep being attracted to somebody.
You can find someone attractive but not be attracted to them.
When you say attracted to them, what do you mean as far as
to not want them?
Just want them. That's what you. Okay.
Like I could say
like there are a lot of fine women that have really shitty personalities.
Right.
A lot.
Oh yeah, of course.
So they're not attractive to you. You don't.
They're a good friend.
You would not be interested in pursuing.
You'll find other fine women
that could be,
in association with them.
That's not necessarily why you're not attracted to them because they have a bad personality. Just because.
That's one reason. That could be.
You telling me they could be a completely fine girl, but there's no way a guy can be like, oh, we're just friends. I don't.
So let's say like
no, because there's dickheads.
You said
there's dickheads in this world that just don't care about shit. Besides.
Okay.
Let's look at it from a physical perspective. So let's say like there's this girl, she's pretty, right? But she's a little bit bigger than what you would prefer. So you might not be attracted to her. You can acknowledge she's pretty, but you wouldn't necessarily pursue a relationship. And why are you laughing? I'm trying to put it into a physical context to where you can understand.
I understand.
Yeah.
What if it's like a good-looking girl? You're like probably not. I wouldn't say a dream girl because that's come on. But like a really, really good-looking girl, but you just don't want to be. Is it possible to be like, oh, I just don't want to be in a relationship with her?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, sure.
But there's the point that I was illustrating. The point that was being illustrated was there might be another factor contributing to why you might not want to be with that individual.
Like something,
yeah. Maybe somebody can have like a drug habit or something. Like she's hot, but you know,
Or
she
she
snorts
got
cocaine.
daddy issues.
Or she got
laugh.
she got, you know, 3 kids with 3 different guys or something like that.
Oh my goodness. But yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. You guys
3 kids with 3 different guys.
Cut.
But yeah, is it do you guys want to wrap this up, or is there anything else you guys want to add as far as this topic?
I enjoyed today's discussion. I think it was a nice way to start 2019 off.
3 weeks later.
Yeah, I was about to say, like,
Yeah. I mean, this is our 2019.
True.
This was
taking
recorded,
over,
by the way.
You saw it?
We actually recorded this December 28th.
2014.
But yeah, what do you guys think though? Can men and women be friends without developing feelings? What do you guys think? Comment below, okay? We want to know. But yeah, that's the show for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. As you know, to my left I got Mr. Bryan Carey. To my right I got Mr. Desmond Tillmon. I'm Mr. Joshua Freeman. You can catch me on Instagram at Joshua VS Society. On Snapchat too at Joshua VS Society. Also got a Tumblr, Joshua VS Society. Do
just put all your contact in.
I do articles. I do sports articles, all of that. So just check that out.
My MySpace page.
check that out too, Joshua. But Bryan, where can they find you?
You can find me on IG, Bry_Almighty_.
Desmond, where can they find
You can find me on Apple Music at Dope It's Des. And you can find me on Snapchat at the same handle. And you know, last episode I did my album of the week. Let me go check to see what's been in my heavy rotation.
Thought you had something picked already.
Nah, I didn't. I actually forgot all about it. I've actually been listening to The Life of Pablo a lot. So that's my album of the week.
Life of Pablo? Kanye West?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys
Father Stretch My Hands. Woo.
If you guys are still a fan, check it out, I guess.
You know what they say.
You said what?
Put your MAGA hat on and listen to it.
Nah, you know what they say. Separate the
If you
artist
support
from
that,
the
right? If you support that, you support that. It's okay. I mean, it's up to you. You do what you think is right? But
hey, Josh's favorite Boondocks character is Uncle Ruckus.
But thank you guys for tuning in, though. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.